And you know what? They've been involved in 11 one or two goal losses. They've beat Mankato. They tied Mankato. Again, I just glanced at their schedule, a 2-0 loss against Michigan State. The bottom line is he's a heck of a coach, and we've got our work cut out for us. And you know, we've had a hard time getting traction and getting consistency to our game. And no, it's just another one of those weekends where I told our guys, hey, you gotta be dialed in, you gotta play well. And I gave him a quote from Bob Peters. You know, Coach Peters said this all the time to us: never overestimate your opponent, never underestimate your opponent. In other words, we can all do the math right there. In other words, you're playing the number one team in the country, don't be intimidated. And if you're playing anybody else, don't be overconfident, because again, you're going to stub your toe. And he said that all the time, and that's hockey. That's why, again, I say it in this room all the time with you guys. It's the greatest game there is, because you can't predict who's going to win, who's going to lose. They're just again, we don't have a crystal ball, and it's a great sport that way, because every game there's not only something on the line, but the people are going to get their money's worth. When you watch college hockey, I don't care what you're paying for a ticket, 90% of the time you're going to walk away saying, you know what, that was great entertainment.
Coach Shayak was dealt a really tough hand with this team and only having 4 returning players back. And you talked about how many close games they've been in, the wins they've gotten. Just talk about what he's been able to do this season, you know, under the conditions he's been in with having to rebuild an entire program.
It just tells you again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, Jared. It's Schick's a heck of a coach. Dave's a heck of a coach. And again, only 4 guys returning. And you know, I don't know what any of us would do if that's the hand that we were dealt with, but that was the hand he was dealt with. And he took it on, he tackled it, and he's doing a great job with it. And he's building a program basically from scratch again.
Back to Bowling Green. Obviously a crazy series and a pretty unique way to pick up 3 points. But you go into the weekend without an extra attacker goal and you come out with 3. What does it say about the resolve of this team?
I know. I said this to I don't know how many people. And again, Jared, I didn't know that stat. We had 0, 6-on-5 goals going into this last weekend. I believe it. I just didn't put any thought into it. I remember last year getting the one against Ferris in the playoffs. You know, that sticks in my mind right there. And I can't sit there. I've been involved in this game for 30 years of college hockey. I don't ever remember scoring 2 6-on-5 goals on a weekend, let alone 3. And if we did score 2 6-on-5 goals on a weekend ever, it must have been like we might have been down 2 or 3 goals is what I'm getting at, maybe on one of the games. And it didn't mean anything is all I'm getting at. But no, it was crazy. And Schultz, you know, Schultze's sitting there, and I mean, I'm sure you were going crazy up there in the press box, Schultze. And if you guys were watching on Midco right there, it was the same thing. But it was crazy. And we can sit there and reflect back on those last 3.5 minutes. But again, for whatever reason, we got some puck luck, and we had good karma. And again, that's what you need, that every now and then. Every now and then you need to be lucky. And but I also want to sit there and say, you know what? It's a testament to those guys who are on the ice, because again, they won faceoffs. Jets won faceoffs. Our wings were really good on 50-50 pucks. We got in the lanes of clears. We created hurries for them that whether they bombed a clear into one of our bodies or they fanned on a clear, the bottom line was a lot of things went well. They went right. And then, of course, going into that overtime with the power play, you know, obviously we wanted to win that thing in overtime. And, you know, we were given every opportunity to do that. But conversely, that goaltender, he was making saves on his back that like I've never seen. So just being involved in a game like that is one of those games where you sit there and say that was again, maybe Bowling Green won't say that, but again, we'll say it on the green team. But that was just a great game to be involved with, and it was a great 2 points for us, and it was a weird way to get a split the whole weekend.
And I know you have your thoughts on how 3-on-3 overtime is, and that was one of the weirder ones going. getting that 4-on-3 to start, it turns into a 5-on-3, all the chances, all the big saves.
And almost giving up a goal on that,
Right.
you know what, when Scholze goes behind the net, and of course it hits, I don't know what little it hit on the
stanchion.
Yeah, I know it didn't. It hit something on the, on the bumper. It's something right there, and it stuck out right there. So it was almost like we're on the Zamboni end, where if the Zamboni door is getting stuck out, but something happened right there, and and that was during the 5-on-3, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm going, holy moly, like, how does this all play out? How does this all happen? But again, at the end of the day, you will all reflect back on that game as one of those games that it's one of those games for the ages from the standpoint of it was unpredictable, but it went our way.
Casper Magnuson earlier this year called himself a second-half player, and he talked about how he's been struggling to find those scoring opportunities and convert on them. But for him, he said, all it takes is one for him to get going. How important will it be for him to stay going in the second half for you guys?
Well, we were anticipating Casper, to have obviously more goals than he's had right now. And I think Casper would be the first one to say that he was also, his goals were more than what he has right now. Right, he have 2 goals this past weekend.
So, yeah.
And but he was a second half player last year, and we need Casper. We need Casper's juice, and we need him to score a little more, but he's got to make sure, again, that he's playing the game right and scoring at the same time. You can't cheat the game and try to score. You got to still play honest, but he does that because he's an honest player, and it was good to see him get off the schneid last weekend, and Adam Flamang as well. Flammers, he's also, again, he has higher expectations for himself, and he had a heck of a weekend too, and Flammer's a big reason why we tied that game up. I mean, he did a lot of dirty work. He did a lot of dirty work, getting loose pucks and finishing checks and playing in traffic and occupying space and just doing a lot of good things right there.
Yuri, too. He had a hot start, kind of slowed down in terms of just a production and points perspective, but another big weekend for Yuri. Ices it with the shootout winner. How important is he for this?
Well, it is, and Yuri's been fighting it as well. I was going to have a talk with Yuri last week, and I just said, I'm not going to. Yuri's going to watch the interview right now probably and say, Coach, we're going to have a talk. I was going to have a talk with Yuri, but I backed off it. Yuri's a senior. He's got 2 months, 3 months left, whatever it is, and we tweak some lines, and I go, I said to myself, Yuri will figure it out, but he's been fighting it. My point is for the last month, and it was good to see him also have the weekend he did.
Last one. This doesn't happen a whole lot, but Riley Funk's going to get a chance to play against his former team, and it can come with a lot of emotions for him personally, but how confident are you in just his ability to stay on track and take this weekend in stride?
These guys are professionals. These guys all play junior hockey. You got to remember that, guys. They didn't play high school. They played junior hockey. There's trades going all the time. They've been traded. They went to this team. They went to that team. The culture of our sport, there's trades all the time. I don't think it's a big deal. And I know you said it doesn't happen a lot. It's going to happen a lot more down the road. And so I haven't even thought about it, and I'm not even worried about Funker. You got to remember, too, how many guys in that team does Funker know?
Yeah.
You just said 4 guys are returning, so he only knows 4. Yeah. So it's not like there's 20 guys returning. So, again, from that standpoint, it's like whatever.
He was part of that second wave of kids that entered the portal after Patolny left, and when he goes in, obviously, you guys were on it. He's here now. What did you see out of him during his time in Northern that made him a good fit here?
Well, first off, he's a Manitoba kid. He's got good size. We just felt we needed one more player. When Funker went into the portal, we needed another player, and we just felt again that he was this. We just thought he was a good puzzle piece for us. Again, he's a centerman. He's from Manitoba. He's got 2 years of eligibility. He's got good size. We're obviously we're typically an undersized team, so he brings a little bit of that which we didn't have. So we just felt again it was a good call, and of course their coaches at Northern Michigan, Grant Patolny, Byron Poole, they spoke very highly of him, and they just said from our standpoint, you know what, he's going to be a heck of a player for you, and they just think he's a world-class kid, and they said he's just a better human being than he is a player, and they were spot on.
How does he fit into the culture of this team? Earlier this month, you called him one of the heart and souls of this team, and just how has he fit?
I called him the heart. That weekend, the heartbeat.
Yeah,
you darn right. And so that just tells you how he's fit in right there.
Yeah.
You know what? Again, these guys don't. You know what? These guys value our players. They're no different than coaches. They're no different than fans. they value hard work. They value honesty, and they know a guy that they can trust. They can recognize that right away. And Funker, he came in and they recognized that immediately that this guy's a man of substance.
Yeah. I mean, they've kind of gotten off to a tough start this year, but they had a pretty good weekend taking out Mankato, so should be a good test for us.
Usually I'd ask, have you ever been a part of a series like you were this past weekend? But you have been. I mean, the Michigan Tech game last year, the Minnesota State game last year, it's kind of a group that almost thrives in those chaotic games. Just talk about what it was like being a part of this past one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We're having some fun coming back in these games, and yeah, we've had some experience doing it before, and I think we have a resilient group doing that, and yeah, it's been good doing that.
3-on-3 overtime turns into 5-on-3, and with that big power play, and it's just chaos, right? 10 saves this way. There's almost a goal on your own net with a weird kick off the bumper. What's the emotions like on the bench in those situations?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That was hectic watching that, and just happy we got to win the shootout there and didn't allow that in overtime. Yeah.
How big is it to, just in terms of momentum, to kind of steal 2 points there with a couple of extra Tracker goals and really kind of this, can it kind of kickstart something here for the second half?
Yeah, that is really big. We needed those to get those points back. Yeah, and hopefully it does kick something right now, and we got to start getting some momentum here going into the playoffs.
Riley Funk's going to get a chance to play his former team this weekend, and he's been such a boost for you guys this year. From the inside, what's he been like adding him to this team?
Yeah, he's been a really good player for us. He's just skating a lot, and he can play big body, so he can protect the puck well and always makes good plays.
How's he fit into the culture of this team?
Really well. Yeah, he's good guys. He's buddies with everybody, and yeah, fitting really well.
Yeah, we don't know a ton. They're a new team this year. A lot of new guys. We'll find out more on Thursday.
Obviously, a crazy weekend out in Ohio. Just what was it like to be a part of that? I mean, it's 3 extra attacker goals on the weekend. You get one of them. Just what can that weekend do for you guys going forward?
Yeah, it's definitely a big confidence booster. I know I've never played in a series where we've had 3 goals like that. Kind of reminds me of the Mankato and Tech series from last year. But yeah, it was super fun and a huge 3 points for us on the weekend.
Going back to those Mankato and Michigan Tech games, it seems like this is a group that doesn't mind being in those crazy, chaotic kind of games. What is it about this group that can kind of routinely find a way out of them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think we'd rather be up 3-0 than down 3-0, but I think it's just a belief in our team and our guys that we can come back, and if we do the little things, we can chip away and come back in those situations.
For you personally, it's been a little bit of a snake-bitten year, and you pop a couple, everything starts to kind of click, not just for you, but Casper, Yuri finds it again this weekend. How important is it for you guys just interpersonally to get that confidence? Yeah, absolutely. It's huge.
I know, and for me, especially when I slow started stuff, and when you have a weekend like that, the confidence comes back. It's huge for Casper as well, because that was he had 3 goals this weekend, and he hadn't had one all year. So I think we log a lot of minutes, so it's important for us to contribute and help the team win. And
last one, but Riley Funk's going to get to play his former team this weekend. Just talk about what an addition he's been to you guys on the ice, in the locker room, and how he's fit into this team. Yeah,
he fits in perfectly. Funk's an awesome guy. We live together. We're really, really good friends, and I think he's going to have a blast playing his old team. It'll be fun for him.